Hey yo, what's good everybody? It's your boy Matthew Maley for MatthewMaley.com. Well, I wanted to do a quick wrap up of the NBA All-Star Weekend. It is Sunday night. All the festivities just wrapped, and wanted to do a recap of the whole weekend as well as All-Star Game, MVP, all that stuff. So first off, we'll start with All-Star Friday night, and as you guys know, the All-Star Game, the All-Star Game itself, I think, is one of the better All-Star games. I still think baseball has a really good All-Star game. I'm not that huge into baseball, but I like their game, and I like that it actually means something. But I think the basketball game's fun. I mean, nobody plays defense until the fourth quarter, and it's just an alley-oop fest, but it is entertaining. It's always something I do like to watch. But a lot of the other festivities are just a little over the top. From the the slam dunk competition, which has really gone downhill lately. The skills competition, the 3-point contest, as well as they actually do the D-League All-Star Game, a D-League slam dunk competition, and then the Rising Stars, the BBVA Compass Bank Rising Stars. It used to be the rookies versus sophomore game, but they went ahead and changed it this past year, trying to get Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley in front of the camera more and had them select their own teams. As well as on ESPN, you have the Celebrity Game. So we'll start with the Celebrity Game, which was okay. I mean, the Celebrity Games are never anything special. It's always just an excuse to see a bunch of, C-list, some B-list actors and, old pros and everybody get out there and, again, not play any defense and just miss a lot of shots. But it was still pretty cool. The guy I got to give a shout out to is Arne Duncan. He is the Secretary of Education in the Obama administration, and dude could ball. He actually was a Harvard graduate as well. So as everybody's talking about Jeremy Lin, throw him in there. And dude was balling. He ended up with like 16 points and was killing it. He's part of the reason that Dwight Howard's team, as Dwight Howard was coaching against Kevin Durant, Dwight Howard's team just came out and just destroyed Durant's team. I mean, straight crushed them. But because the world of the MVP is controlled by the fan vote, Kevin Hart got the MVP. Kevin Hart with 4 points, one rebound, and like 3 assists, got the MVP. Following the line of Bieber with 4 points last year and all that other BS. Usually I'm alright with that because usually it's a garbage game. But you're actually the guy who could ball, and it kind of pissed me off he didn't get the nomination for it. He didn't get the nod. But Kevin Hart's funny, and he wasn't as funny as he thinks he is, but he was still pretty funny and ended up getting ejected from the game, which I didn't even know you could do. And it was funny to see. So it was cool he won. And then also Tim Legler, the NBA NBA analyst from ESPN. Maybe he's a college analyst. I don't know. Either way, he was bombing pretty hard as well. He dropped like 4 or 5 threes and was playing some tough defense. He stripped Neo of the ball at like half court and straight sunned him. But overall, it was worth watching to just have kind of some background noise. You know what I mean? Like just have something playing while I don't even remember what I was doing, but something more important than watching the Celebrity Game. So after the Celebrity Game, then you got started into the Friday night festivities. And I didn't watch the D-League Slam Dunk competition or the D-League game, but I actually heard that the D-League Slam Dunk competition, I saw a couple pictures from it, and I'm assuming it was a shout-out to old school Larry Johnson, but dude got dressed up like a grandma. And if you remember, Larry Johnson was known as Grandma Ma. And he did the commercial line with Converse. Actually used to have his kicks. I had both of Larry Johnson's player exclusive kicks back in the Converse days when he was Grandma Ma with big old gold teeth. went to UNLV. Larry Johnson was one of my favorite players. So shout out to LJ. I actually had a bird named LJ because it was one of my favorite players so much. But I heard it was actually a pretty good game, a pretty good slam dunk competition. I didn't watch it, but I did watch some here and there of the Rising Stars game, which, like I said, this year wasn't the rookies versus sophomores, because I believe the sophomores have won the game like the past like 5 years. So they changed it up, and they had Shaq coaching against Chuck, and they got to Charles Barkley, and they got to draft a team or whatever. And the big thing was that the lineups had already been set before Jeremy Lin went on this tear. So everybody was making this big thing about how Jeremy Lin should be in the Rising Stars game, da 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 da. And so they ended up at the last minute, they put him in, and then he ended up playing like 6 minutes or something. Had 1 assist to Blake Griffin, an alley-oop. 1 assist and 2 points, I think. So it was kind of funny that there was all this hoopla about getting him in there, and then for what? So that was another, just nonstop defensive missing thing. Couldn't really come up with anything to say there, but there was no defense. Let's put that way. Defense was listed on the side of a milk carton. But Kyrie Irving pretty well killed it. He ended up, I think he had like 38 points or something. He ended up getting the MVP of that game and pretty well killed it. But I didn't really watch all of that, nor did I watch the Shooting Stars, where they get the former pro, women's league, and a current player, and you got to make the shots from around the, got to make a layup, a free throw, three-pointer, half-court shot. I didn't watch that this time. Sometimes I do, not this time. Then we got to the skills competition, which I actually like the skills competition. A lot of people are like, well, it's a skills competition, but technically all that means is these are the skills you need to play basketball. So really it's just a basketball competition. True. But I can't stand Tony Parker. He was the only person that was competing in it that I don't like. I would have been fine with anybody else winning. I was really going for Russell Westbrook. I like him a lot. I like the Thunder a lot, actually, but I'm a big fan of Russell Westbrook, even though Skip Bayless hates on him a lot. I still think he's nice, and I think the Thunder do need him. I agree he should pull back some of his shooting sometimes, but at the end of the day, I think the dude's nice. So I was pulling for him. But the only thing that kind of sucked is that they were playing for a kid that was like with them, was wearing their jersey and whatever, and whoever won got a $25,000 scholarship for that kid for education, and it was kind of sad, but like a lot of the guys were kind of lollygagging it. Like D Rose was kind of just lollygagging at first. Rondo, straight dribbled around his back on the one. It's like, word? Like, I was kind of surprised with that, honestly. I don't know. I thought it was going to be a little bit more. I understand you don't need to take it super seriously, but I kind of thought that it was going to be at least a little more serious, and it wasn't. But ended up Tony Parker won it. Won it over Rondo. Yeah, I think so. Because it came down to Rondo, John Wall tied, and then Rondo beat him, and then Tony Parker beat Rondo because Rondo missed, I think, 2 passes or 2 shots. I wasn't really paying that much attention to it, but once my boy Russell was out, I was just kind of like, then we got to the 3-point contest, and it actually was kind of funny because you had both James Jones and Mario Chalmers from the Heat in competing, and it shows that they really have some good wing players to feed off of LeBron and D-Wade driving the lane. But James Jones actually first round came out dropped 22, but the second round only put in 12. So it opened up the door for a new champion after he'd won it last year. And it actually came down to Kevin Durant versus Kevin Love, and they both were going at it hard. Like, I was impressed. Kevin Love started off slow. He missed like his first 3 or 4, maybe even 5 shots, and then came back and hit a bunch of his money balls. If I'm not mistaken, I think they were saying he hit like 9 or 10 of his money balls for the night, out of like 14 or something. It had to have been more than that. I don't know. I don't remember what the stat was. But he came out and ended up beating Kevin Durant. Durant he got a little cold at the end there, and Love was able to take it. So shout out to him. I think that's a fun competition. I mean, I know it's just shooting 3-pointers, but personally, I think it's kind of cool. And it's one of those competitions you always know it's going to be a good display of shooting. You know, it's kind of like the home run derby. You always know, yeah, you're going to have every so often, you're going to have a year where the guy only gets 4 home runs or, you know, whatever. But for the most part, you know it's going to be at least somewhat entertaining. You know you're going to get some decent action. That's the same thing with a 3-point competition. So then we got to the slam dunk competition. And, wow, let's just say that. For those who don't know, the slam dunk competition this year featured LeBron James, Blake Griffin, Andre Iguodala. Oh, wait. No, it didn't. Yeah, that's right. Instead, it featured Jeremy Evans, I'll pause for you to say who, of the Utah Jazz, Paul George, I'm pausing again for you to say who, of the Indianapolis Pacers, Indiana Pacers, guy that I actually do like because he went to U of A, I followed his career, Derek Williams of the Timberwolves, and Chase Budinger of the Houston Rockets. All right, so let's get to the action. So first off, Chase Budinger's dunk was actually pretty solid. They changed the format. They were sick of it going on too long because outside of Blake Griffin, nobody's really been good in this thing. Well, Nate Robinson had a couple. Him and Dwight Howard had a couple decent years. Amari had a couple good dunks, but they decided to shorten the entire contest, not have finals anymore, have 4 people, you get 3 dunks, a minute and a half time limit, no judges, open just to the public to vote. All right, I see what you're doing, NBA, changing it up. I personally still think there should be judges because, for one thing, it's an excuse to have Dr. J, Dominique Wilkins, you know, and the like up there to judge. So that's always fun to see them. And I think that leaving anything up to the public, it's never a good move, in my personal opinion. So Chase Budinger's first dunk, everybody had little skits, and P. Diddy was there with his kids, and ended up meeting Chase, who then said that white men can't jump, and I'll show you. I will play up the movie. He then pulled Diddy out onto the floor and dunked over him. All right, it was a cool dunk. It had a little, fanfare to it. That was cool. Plus, I mean, Diddy's not huge, and he's like 5'8" or 5'9", but it was still a nice dunk. And you didn't really expect it from him. Well, that was definitely his best dunk. He then went on to do a kind of half-hearted windmill. It was decent, but all it was the exact same dunk that Derek Williams did in the first time, but Derek Williams jumped over a motorcycle. Chase Budinger just did a windmill. And then his final dunk was a tribute to Cedric Ceballos, which I thought that was cool. Being a Suns fan, love Ced Ceballos. He actually brought Ced Ceballos out, put the little blindfold on, missed the first dunk, and then made the second one after having Kenny Smith and Cedric Ceballos help him count out the steps. It's kind of weird. I just wasn't really feeling it. So he didn't win. Then it got to we'll go in order here. Then went to Paul George, whose first dunk was kind of cool. He came out wearing some glow-in-the-dark kicks and like covering his body in like glow-in-the-dark little stickers and stuff, and ended up having everybody turn off all the lights in the entire arena, and he glowed in the dark and dunked. It wasn't any kind of a special dunk though. It was just a normal dunk that so happened to be, it was dark. It was kind of cool just because of the props and everything, but still. His next dunk was, what was the second one? His second one was he pulled out, or maybe this was his first one, and that was the second one. He pulled out Roy Hibbert, and was it Dante Jones? I think so, yeah. Yeah, Dante Jones. And had him stand and essentially just Chase Buddingered them and jumped over both of them. But it took a couple times. At first, he was trying to take it off of a pass, couldn't. Finally, just ran up there with it himself and still smacked Roy Hibbert in the head with his junk. And it kind of just was like, okay, so he jumped high. In my opinion, nobody's ever going to do that as well as Vince Carter did it in a game over a homie from Italy or Spain or wherever it was with Team USA. Nobody will ever do it better than that, so stop trying as far as I'm concerned. His final dunk was, I don't know. I don't remember the numbers, which way they went. But he had a picture of Larry Bird in his hand, and he smacked it up onto the board and then spun around and did a dunk. The problem was that it took like 4, 5, 6, 7 times for him to do. So next thing you know, there's like multiple stickers of Larry Bird up on the backboard. I mean, it was good in concept, but the fact that he couldn't execute it on the first try, it kind of sucked. Derek Williams had a good intro. He came out riding on the back of a motorcycle and then pulled the motorcycle up and did a windmill dunk over the motorcycle. That also took a couple tries, so that kind of sucked. Then his second dunk was actually pretty sick. I think it was probably the best dunk of the night. Ricky Rubio came up, and it was the same, kind of like the dunk that, it might have even been the same dunk that Andre Iguodala did, like probably 4 years ago, where Rubio throws it off the side of the backboard, and Williams takes it and spins around and does a 360, which was sick. The only thing that sucked is his third dunk, he couldn't complete. He was trying, I mean, it would have been pretty sick. I was reading about it, and they said that Chris Douglas Roberts tried the same dunk in the D-League dunk contest, and neither one of them could ever get close to dunking it. So that kind of sucks. But then that gets us to our winner, which is Jeremy Evans. And his first dunk was quite possibly the worst dunk ever in slam dunk competition history. He put a camera on his head so that everybody could see first person what he was doing. He then proceeded to throw a lob that he misplaced. So when it bounced up, he was literally about 3 inches away from the hoop, and all he did was just do a reverse dunk. Like, that was it. And then they showed it in first person. It was horrible. It was so bad, Andre Iguodala took his number, instead of 10, and folded it so it always showed the 0. I loved it. I thought it was pretty funny. His second dunk, he ended up, was a pretty decent dunk. He ended up dunking 2 balls over Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward was sitting in a chair, and he jumped over Gordon Hayward and then dunked both of the balls. And that one was pretty cool. And then his final dunk, again, Kevin Hart's anywhere there's a camera. Kevin Hart was walking around on the sidelines with a mailman's hat and mailman's outfit. He then says he has a special delivery for Jeremy Evans. Jeremy Evans opened up the package. It's a mailman jersey, Karl Malone. He then pulls Kevin Hart, stands him in the lane, puts on the mailman jersey, and jumps over him. And he actually hit a pause. Like, as he went over him, he kind of like dunked it like this. And it was kind of tight. But at the end of the day, it was kind of like, it was a little bit of a letdown. I was kind of like, okay, Kevin Hart's like 3'9". I could jump over Kevin Hart. And I'm the personification of white men can't jump. Well, not anymore, at least. I used to be able to jump. I could dunk a small ball, but not anymore. So it was like, and he ended up winning. I don't think anybody should have won that. It was horrible. I don't think they should have another slam dunk competition until LeBron, even Dwayne Wade, throw him in there. Throw Derrick Rose in there. Put, obviously, Blake Griffin. And I don't know, get Nate Robinson again. Little guy can still jump. It just, it was sad. You have these great dunkers, and none of them were there. And I understand, like what Blake Griffin said, there's just so much stuff going on All-Star Weekend, so many demands on your time when that's your only break, especially in a condensed season like we're having, that he just wasn't trying to, do it. I get that. I really do. But in the same sense, it also sucks from a fan's perspective. So maybe next year they can spread it out more. We won't have a condensed season, and he'll be in the dunk competition. Sadly, I've given up the fact that LeBron will ever be in it just because. So that brings us to the game. And first thing about the game is I will say it was torture to watch because I did not get one of the All-Star Game sneakers. I did not get the LeBron Big Bangs. I did not get the Kevin Durant Galaxies. I did not get the Kobe Bryant Galaxies. I did not get the Hyper Dunk Galaxies. I did not get the Hyper Elite Galaxies. I didn't get some other pair of Galaxies, and most importantly, I didn't get the Foamposite Galaxies because those dopes are dope. And they're already selling for like 10 grand online. It's ridiculous. They're sick though. And they all were working with glow-in-the-dark soles, and oh, it pissed me off seeing all these cats running around in them. And I'm just like, I want those, 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 and I didn't get any of them. So if anybody knows where I can get some Kevin Durant's, the Kobe Bryant's, and or the LeBron Big Bangs, I would say LeBron's I want most, Kevin Durant's I want second, and then Kobe's I want third. Obviously, I want the dopes, but I mean, I'm not going to spend $5 grand on them. Come on. If you know anywhere that has them in my size, don't tell me like RMK store, RKM store. Don't tell me Flight Club, because none of them get size 15s very often. Flight Club does every so often, but it's very rare. So if you do know of them, let your boy know. So the game was actually a pretty good game. It opened up a huge. The West was just destroying the East. They were up at one point by like 22, I think, and it was just killing them. And it was the standard All-Star game. For 3 quarters, it is just nothing but alley-oops and open lanes and craziness. And then that 4th quarter comes around, and everybody wants to start playing. Everybody wants to start winning, which I respect that. I like that about the game. So it ended up LeBron led an amazing comeback, was just dropping threes. He had back-to-back threes. First one was with Kobe draped all over him. Second one was with Russell Westbrook draped all over him. And I mean, just butter. Just like, done. It was nice. Like, dude was killing it. Ended up, both him and Kevin Durant got close to hitting the all-time record. The all-time record in a game, All-Star game, was 42 points. And Kevin Durant ended up with 38, and LeBron ended up with 36, I think, or maybe 38 as well. And it came down to the end, and the biggest play of the entire thing was one of those long full-court passes from LeBron to D-Wade. And D-Wade, I don't know if he saw the flash bulbs or what, but he muffed the pass. It hit him right in his hands. Layup, ties the game, muffs the pass, goes out of bounds. So that sucked. Excuse me. But ended up being a pretty decent game. At the end, Kevin Durant took the MVP. He had just, really, it would have either gone to him or LeBron, depending on which team won. The fact that the West won, they gave it to KD, which I agree. Westbrook ended up having 22. LeBron had either 36 or 38. D-Wade had 21. Kobe had 26, I think, and is officially the all-time leading scorer in All-Star Game history. So that's kind of cool. Shout out to Kobe. I hate Kobe, but shout out to Kobe. Takes a lot of years of being healthy, a lot of years of All-Star games to get that. So I'm pissed off that he passed Jordan for it. I would have liked that to have been a record that Jordan forever held. But honestly, with how Durant's been dropping points, Durant's going to take that. Kobe even said it. Durant's going to take that title pretty soon here. So definitely was a fun game. At the end of the day, the NBA does a pretty damn good job with the All-Star Weekend. Yeah, there's a little more C-list celebrities than I'd like, and a little, less defense than I'd like. But at the end of the day, it still ended up being a fun game. And it still was entertaining to watch. It was still great to see all the best players in the NBA. Well, most of them. I really don't know. Roy Hibbert should have been there. But that's here nor there. But it's just fun to see, and it's fun to see these guys that you're never going to see play together. It's cool. It's cool to see. So I'm a fan of the NBA All-Star Game. Of course, there was more mayhem and stupidity. Wherever the All-Star game goes, stupidity follows. There was a reported machete fight in the streets of Orlando, as well as some major rioting regarding the Dopes, the Galaxy Dopes, to the point where like 6 or 7 House of Hoops locations, maybe even more than that at least, said we aren't releasing them, which caused more riots. It was nuts. It was the Concords all over again to like the nth degree. But overall, it was a fun game, fun weekend worth of basketball, and now it's time to get ready for the second half of the season and see what happens. I am sticking with my picks as of now. I still think it's going to come down to the Thunder versus the Heat. Heat taking it in 6 games, maybe 5. Still think it's going to come down to the Heat versus the Bulls and Thunder versus the Clippers. So there you go. Heard it first. So as always, thank you very much for checking out all of my videos. It's fun to do, so hopefully you guys like them. And of course, while you're at it, check out the rest of them. If you're up on my website right now, MatthewMailey.com, check out everything on the video blog tab. You got everything listed right there. Or you can check my videos out up on YouTube directly. Search for Matthew Mailey Poker on YouTube, where you can like, comment, and subscribe all my vids. And of course, follow your boy up on Twitter. I was tweeting a lot today. Actually, All-Star Weekend, making lots of posts. Follow me on Twitter at Matthew Mailey. And finally, of course, like your boy's page on Facebook. Search for Matthew Mailey Poker. Or if you're friends with me personally, Matthew Mailey on there, look for the page. Like it and get all the major updates. So, till the next video, your boy is officially signing out. It's been a fun All-Star Weekend, but gotta get back to work now. So, till the next video, your boy's signing off. Peace out.